All right, so in this video, I'm going to be going over the exact steps that I used myself to close more deals in phone flipping. I used to struggle with this a lot. This is probably one of the hardest things in phone flipping is closing more deals. So once you actually get it down, you can make a shit ton of money. So me personally, I've been able to scale up to $15,000 to $20,000 profit per month with phone flipping, and I've only been doing this for about a year. So let's get right into the first one. Number one is just going to be do more. If you zoom out on phone flipping, it is purely a volume game. That's all it is. It's purely a volume game. You're not making $500, $1,000 profit per phone. You're making $50, $100, $150 profit per phone. So it is a volume game. That's all it is. So you want to bring in as many phones as possible. So you have to be reaching out to as many people as possible. Don't be reaching out to 5 people a day, 10 people a day. Reach out to literally everybody, 50 people, 100 people, however many people it is a day that you have to reach out to. Reach out to literally everybody that you possibly can, because the more shots that you take on goal, the more you're going to score. So for example, if I go out on the street and I ask one girl for her phone number, she's probably not going to give me her phone number. But if I go on the street and I ask 100 girls, I'm probably going to get a phone number. So the same thing goes for phone flipping. If I go out on Facebook Marketplace and I reach out to 100 people, I'm probably going to get a phone. If I go on Facebook Marketplace and I reach out to 10 people, I'm probably not going to get a phone. If I get lucky, maybe I will. But that's just the example of it's just all volume. Just do more. And I know a lot of you guys that are in different countries that are watching this that have different marketplaces that aren't just Facebook Marketplace. You want to be on literally everything. You want to be on Facebook Marketplace. You want to be on OfferUp. You want to be on any other sort of marketplace app that there is in your area that you could list a phone on, that you could list any item on, because there's going to be phones on that platform, most likely. So that just allows you to reach out to more people that have a phone for sale. So the bottom line is just do more. Whether that's do more reaching out, do more Facebook Marketplace posts, do more flyers, do more whatever it is. Do more of everything, because the more you do of it, the more people are going to reach out to you. The more people you reach out to, the more phones you're going to get, everything. The more methods that you do, the more phones you'll get. The more people you reach out to, the more phones you'll get. Literally everything. So just purely volume. And number two is just going to be a straight up offer. So this is what has definitely led me to closing a lot of deals when doing outreach, is just giving them a straight up offer instead of asking a million questions like all these other phone flippers do. Like when I see a phone listed, I'm not just asking straight off the bat, hey, is it unlocked? What's the battery health? What's the IMEI? Is it in good condition? All right, send me pictures. Like I'm not asking all these BS questions that I could just figure out in person if I just get them to the meetup. Right? You just want to get the person to the meetup as quick as possible. So my first initial message is just, hey, I can do $200 cash and pick it up today. Or even better, I could do $200 cash and I could pick it up right now. Right? So your only value when reaching out to somebody that has a phone for sale, your only value is the cash and how quickly they're getting it. So if I say, hey, I could do $200 cash and I could pick it up in 5 minutes, I'm probably going to get that deal. Whereas if I were to say, hey, I could do $250 cash, but I could pick it up next week, they're probably going to take the $200 cash in 5 minutes instead of the $250 cash in 1 week, right? It just makes more sense. Everybody just wants fast cash. And that's when you're reaching out to somebody, that's kind of your only value, is how quick can you actually go pick up that phone? Because I've had people that I've reached out to and I've offered them a lower price than somebody else has offered them, but my value was how quick can I actually make it to that meetup. So the person that they were supposed to meet up with was either doing it tomorrow or the next day. And I just said straight up, hey, I could do this price and I could pick it up right now. So I do see this a lot on a daily basis. And most of the time they will go with your offer just because you can meet up quicker. So really your only value when you are reaching out to somebody that has a phone for sale is how quick can you pick up that phone. So yeah. And the third thing is just asking if they have any more phones. So most of the time, after my deal is closed, when we're still texting, I already closed the deal. We already know where we're meeting. We already know what time. After we get all that situated, I'll always ask, hey, do you have any more phones for sale by any chance? Or do you have any other devices laying around? And a lot of the times they have another iPhone or maybe an Apple Watch or maybe an iPad, MacBook, whatever it is. But most of the time they have another device that I can make profit on. That's all that matters, right? So there's like a statistic that like the average Apple iPhone user owns over like 3 Apple devices. So most of the time they have another Apple device. So it's kind of all up to you. Do you only want to buy iPhones or do you want to buy Apple Watches, iPads, MacBooks, whatever it is? But if you do buy all those other items, you're just increasing your chance to make more profit. Because if you do ask somebody, hey, do you have any more devices for sale? Most of the time they have something. At least me personally, I stick to iPhones and iPads. But most of the time when I do ask somebody, do you have any more devices for sale? If they don't have an iPhone, which a lot of the times if they do have something, most of the time it is an iPhone. But if they don't have an iPhone, most of the time they have something like an Apple Watch or a MacBook or something. So yeah, I always ask, do you have any more phones? Because a lot of the times they will have more phones. Hey, my wife just upgraded. Yeah, I'll have another phone next week. So whatever it is, just ask if they have more devices laying around or for sale. And a private buyer definitely does help with this, because a lot of the times what will happen is they'll say, yeah, I do have a phone, but it's cracked on the back, so I didn't even think of selling it. I didn't even think you could sell it like that. Or, yeah, I do have a phone, but it's locked to T-Mobile or it's locked to a carrier. It's still not paid off, so I didn't know I could sell that. So that's where having a private buyer ties into all this, because if you have a private buyer, you could buy those types of phones. So a lot of the times these people don't even know that they could sell their cracked phone, their carrier locked phone, their blacklisted phone, whatever it is. A lot of the times they're like, oh, I didn't even think that would even sell. You know, it's cracked on the back and the front and the camera lens is cracked. I didn't even know someone would buy that. So that's where you come in, because you have a private buyer and you're like, yeah, I can buy all these types of phones. So that's where having a private buyer is definitely a big advantage. And the fourth way of getting more phones is following up with your leads. So this goes for just about any method of phone flipping, whether someone reached out to you because they saw your flyer or they saw your Facebook ad or they saw your marketplace post, whatever it is, or you reached out to them yesterday, 2 days, 3 days ago, whatever it is, any person that you have came in contact with that wanted to sell you a phone or you wanted to buy their phone because you saw it on Facebook Marketplace, follow up with every single one of these people. Because you have to realize that a lot of the times, these people that are going, like, they're humans. The people that are trying to sell you phones, they're humans. And they get distracted. They don't respond to you. They got busy with work. They got busy with whatever it is. They were driving. A lot of times, these people will just totally forget about you and you'll think, oh, he doesn't want to sell his phone anymore. He just ghosted me. No, they just like don't even realize it happened. So always follow up with the person that you were having a conversation with. So if you were reaching out to somebody on Facebook Marketplace and they said no to your offer, or the conversation just fizzled out, I would just follow up with them and just say, hey, did you sell this device yet? If not, I'm willing to give you cash today. So you'll see that if someone's phone is listed for a crazy price, like you'll see sometimes people will have like an iPhone 13 for like $700 and they're convinced they're like taking $650 minimum and they're just out of their mind. You'll realize that people that have their phones listed for that high of a price, they're never going to get that price. So by you reaching out to them, and you got to realize that they're not going to reach out to you because they're just a matrix human. They're just a person, right? So they have too big of an ego to reach out to you because they're like, oh, well, I didn't take his offer, so now I got to stand on it. Like, I didn't take his offer, so I can't just let him know that I didn't sell the phone, right? It's crazy to think about, but this is actually how people think, because they feel like embarrassed in a way, or like their ego gets hurt because they have to come back to you after they said no to your offer, right? It hurts their ego. It's crazy. I don't know why people are like this, but if you follow up with them nicely, and you just let them know, hey, I could still pick up your phone for $350 cash today. If you're still looking to sell it. If their price that they listed it at was crazy, they'll probably take that offer. So just by you following up with the people that the conversation fizzled out with, or they didn't accept your offer, wherever the conversation went, I always reach out to every single person and follow up with them multiple times, not just the day after, but 3 days after, 6 days after, until I actually get a response, whether they sold their phone or not. I'm still going to reach out to them. So yeah, reach out to all of your leads, and always never end a conversation on like a bad foot, because what I see people will do is say there's an iPhone 14 listed for $400 and I offer them $300. And then they eventually just don't take the offer because they say it's a lowball offer. Like they'll say something like, oh no, that's a terrible price, or whatever they said. A lot of phone flippers will just be like, oh, well, yeah, you're never going to get that price, buddy. And just start a argument or start a fight, just some dumb stuff. Like never leave a conversation on like a bad foot. It just makes no sense. I used to do this a lot. When people would like say like a snarky comment when I would lowball them, I would just argue with them and have a fight and just like curse them out just over some dumb stuff. And obviously if you follow up with them, they're never going to come back. You're not even going to follow up with them in the first place because the conversation ended off bad. But always, no matter if anybody says like, oh, that's a lowball, get out of here, like kick rocks, I'll just say something like, okay, well, if you don't sell it, just let me know and I could be there with quick cash, put like a smiley face or whatever. Just to let people know that like, oh, well, this guy's nice. This guy's not a total dickhead. Just lets people know like, yeah, I would feel more welcoming coming back to this guy who sent me a smiley face and said that he could give me quick cash today, than trying to go back to that dude who called me a dickhead and said I would never get that price, right? So just be nice. It does nothing by cursing him out. Absolutely nothing. So those are the 4 ways that I've used to close more deals. And this video was purely based off like an outreach perspective. So if you're someone who runs Facebook ads and you want to learn how to close more deals that way, you could just drop a comment. I don't know how much people in my audience are actually an experienced phone flipper running ads. But if you want to learn how to close more deals with Facebook ads, just drop a comment and I'll make a video on that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you are a phone flipper that wants to scale your phone flipping business, you could book a call with me. And if you are a phone flipper that is just starting out, trying to learn the ropes, you can check out the link in the description to the Phone Flipping Academy. Completely free community that'll teach you everything on how to make your first $1,000 with phone flipping.